Hi Stampers, this is Kim at Great Inspirations, and today I have two cards to share with you, and it's a fun fold of sorts, and I'm calling it the Corner Flip and Fold card. It has other names that others call it, but I call it the Corner Flip and Fold card because after I do my cutting, flip the corner and fold it down. But I'll show you how to do the cutting for this card. But first of all, let's talk about the stamp set I used and the dies to make these cards. And it comes from the Flowering Cactus stamp set and dies. And they are part of a product medley that is in the new mini catalog on page 9. Here it is, and as you can see, it has some fun felt die cut flowers that comes with it in Calypso Coral and Highland Heather. It has some twine, the linen twine and the Calypso Coral twine, and some really great designs on the 6x6 Designer Series paper. Now all of these items with the stamp set and the dies come as part of the product medley. You can get a refill kit for this product medley that includes the Designer Series paper, the felt die cuts, and the twine. So let's see what these products look like a little more up close than in the catalog. There is the Flowering Cactus stamp set. As you can see, a few different cacti and the cactus flowers with some nice sentiments. I like the Life Can Get Kind of Prickly. I like that one, but there's also one for birthday and just for friendship. And here are the felt die cuts. And as you can see, they have their flowers for the cactus blooms. And they're in Highland Heather or the Calypso Coral, and you get 4 each of the 2 colors. And there are 2 patterns of flowers with the 3-pointed petals, and then the more traditional flower. And each design comes in 3 sizes. And let's see, here is the twine, the Calypso Coral and the linen, and the Designer Series paper. The cactus, like I've used for this card. And they're 2-sided. I've just pulled them out, 2 of each, so you could see each side. I really like this one, all the colors. Of course, you can have the stripes going this way or this way. Here's the design I used for this card. And again, whichever way you prefer. And of course, this particular design coordinates with the dies. And cut those designs out. With the dies. That one, that one, that one, and this one. And also here's the flower one. Get them backwards. And the smaller flowers as well. So let me show you how to cut your paper or your cardstock to make these cards. I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock. This happens to be Mossy Meadow, and it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So we're going to get the trimmer. My little trimmer helper. One of these days I will cut a piece of white cardstock and actually adhere it along here so I don't have to keep using my little helper piece here. But for right now, I'm good with using it. I just haven't gotten brave enough to do that yet. So the first thing we're going to do is along the 5.5 inch side, we're going to put the trimmer, or put it in at 3 inches. And then we're going to move our blade. The darker colored blade is the cutting blade, and the lighter one, that's our scoring blade. We won't need the scoring blade right now. So we're going to go to 5/8 of an inch. So that's just those couple little tick marks past 1/2. So here we go, and we're going to cut to 3 inches. So 5/8 of an inch to 3 inches. Now we're going to flip the paper over and put it in at 3 inches. We're going to do the exact same thing. Get it at 5/8 of an inch. And go down to 3 inches. There we go. We can fold our cardstock. And now comes the flipping and folding of the corner. So you start at the bottom left edge here, and just flip it, and then fold it down. Take your bone folder and go over these little edges right here. There you go. And then you can put whatever you care to put here. I use this piece of cardstock right here as 2.5 by 2.5, but you could make it even a little bit bigger if you wanted. Now, when you have designer series paper on here, like we'll do with this one, I've already adhered the designer series paper. You need to be very much aware of the design on your DSP. For example, if you use this one, you adhere it to your cardstock and then you cut, when you flip it, your design will be upside down. So if that bothers you, you may want to be aware of that, but I will show you how you can overcome that here in just a second. But see, this one, it's not really all that directional, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I'll show you how to cut it. So we want it to fit on here like it usually would. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the trimmer again, and we're going to put this designer series paper in at 1 inch. And that's along the 4 inch side. because this piece of designer series paper is 4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to go, oops, make sure it's at 1 inch. It's not quite. Here, let me, there we go. Well, okay. Now we're going to go from just the top down to 3 inches. And now, along the 5 1/4 inch side, put it in at 3 inches. And go down 3 inches. There you go. As I looking at this, I think it's time for a new trimmer blade. But this will fit just perfectly right there after we just take and trim these ends at an angle. Trim that end, trim this end. And there you go. And then you can put whatever you would prefer to put right there. You could put this right here at the size it is, or trim it down. For this card, that's what I did. I just put it the size that I cut off. But you could trim it down if you wanted to just fit in this little square right here. So that's how you make your designer series paper that you may not want on this side to fit the front of the card. Now if you want to already have your designer series paper on there, it's the same thing we did earlier. Just put it at 3. Get this at 5/8 of an inch. Make sure that's 5/8, yes. Go to 3. Turn it over. Go to 3 inches. Start our 5/8. Not quite there. Okay, 5/8. Go to 3. Take and fold our cardstock in half. And now we'll do the flip and fold. And there you go. Now see this, it's not upside down, but it is sideways. So if those kind of things bother you, you might want to use this method to put your designer series paper on. So that's how I made these 2 cards. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, stamp happy.